But first, ITV News can reveal that Britain's longest-serving prisoner, the murderer and rapist Ronald Evans, has been released. Evans was responsible for a string of sex attacks in Bristol during the 1970s. Now, for the first time, the extraordinary lengths police went to catch him have been made public in an ITV News documentary called Decoy. It details how plain-clothed female officers were sent out to walk the city streets in the hope of luring Evans into a trap, leading to a dramatic conclusion. ITV News West Country correspondent Robert Murphy spoke exclusively to those at the centre of that secret operation.
Ronald Evans, Britain's longest-serving prisoner, spent a total of 52 of his 81 years behind bars. Recently released, he is a man who terrified the city of Bristol with a string of appalling sex attacks in the late 1970s.
We are most concerned with girls who late at night are walking about the streets unaccompanied.
We're asking for the freedom to walk the streets after dark.
There have been numerous sex attacks over the past few months.
Your imagination couldn't run to what they were actually going through, really, not knowing if you were going to live or die.
He's a selfish man, he's a pig of a man.
There was the need for us to do something rather special.
We were asked if you'd like to volunteer, if they've got this operation going on, doing some decoy work.
It was a classic honey trap.
No stab vest, no protection whatsoever.
Attention everybody, this man is on life licence for murder and got previous convictions for rape.
Evans had killed before. He'd murdered a shop worker, Kathleen Heathcote, in 1963 and was sentenced to life in prison. But he was released on life licence in 1975. He used his newfound liberty to attack women as they walked home on nights out. Avon and Somerset Police was unaware this convicted killer was living free in Bristol. As months passed and detectives became more desperate, there were TV reconstructions of the attacker, televised reenactments of the attacks. The force's best leads were the victims' e-fit descriptions, strikingly similar to the freed killer, who was now working as an electrician. Adding further pressure to police, campaigners took to the streets in a mixture of fear and fury.
Like many women, I try not to walk out at night.
We're asking for the freedom to walk the streets after dark.
Desperate, Avon and Somerset Police tried a new tactic. The force would ask its youngest, newest, least experienced female officers to walk these streets in an attempt to lure the Clifton Rapist. The consequences, if it were to go wrong, were too terrible to bear.
We were asked if you'd like to volunteer, if they've got this operation going on, and it'll be working nights.
I don't remember anybody saying no, they wouldn't do it, because, you know, our job was to protect life and property as a policewoman.
No stab vest, no protection whatsoever, in our own clothes, radios that, you know, you couldn't hear, you could barely understand what was being garbled.
The expensive operation ran for months. The decoys were given one last night, March the 22nd, 1979. Almost immediately, a man matching the e-fit was spotted driving slowly behind Michelle Leonard.
I could have said there and then, no, I don't want to do this anymore.
We had a radio message back to say that the vehicle was registered to a man called Evans who was out on life licence for murder and rape.
Once they had said, attention, this man is on life licence for murder and got previous convictions for rape, then I was frightened. You know, I was...
He's now out of the car and running after her.
He's quickening his step, he's getting closer, he's getting closer. So as the sort of tension was building and building and building.
All I had in my mind is I've got to get under a street lamp. Get under a street light so you can be seen. I stopped under the street light, turned round, and there he was behind me, and I thought, that's him, that's a photo fit, that is identical to him. And he hit me, pushed me out the way, hit me in the face, and I said, don't let him get away, don't let him get away.
And literally he ran right at me, and I did one of those sort of grabbed rugby tackles on him.
Evans admitted 5 of the 7 attacks and was sent back to prison. In 2004, a cold case team secured convictions for the 2 assaults he'd denied. He was eventually freed in 2019. The method used to catch Evans, decoys, wasn't new in 1979, but the operation's success was then shared nationally as an example of how detectives could use the technique, catching a killer and changing the face of undercover policing in Britain at the same time.
Robert, what more do we know about Ronald Evans?
Yes, well, he's not a household name as criminals go, is he, like Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, who was operating at the same time up north and whose crimes overshadowed what Ronald Evans was doing down here. What attracted me to this film was the decoy operation, what these young women, some were just 18, were doing, walking these streets every night to try to catch him. And Michelle had this moment of breathless bravery almost. She had a choice to stay on the main road, knowing that a convicted killer was behind her, but if she stayed on the main road, he wouldn't attack, but might attack somebody else. Or should she indeed move on to the side street, in fact this side street, knowing that she would be putting her hands into fate, what would happen with him and the observation teams that were following her. And of course, when he was caught, he was a convicted killer, out on licence. He'd fallen through the net between the probation service and the police, and he has been released since, a couple of years ago. The probation service, by all accounts, is a different service to what it used to be back in the 1970s. We understand he is accessing services. He's an old man as well now, he's 82 years old, and a restraining order prevents him from returning here to Bristol, the city that he terrorised back 40 years ago.
Robert, thank you. You can watch Decoy, Robert's full documentary on how Ronald Evans was caught, on our website. Just go to itv.com/news. OK, let's